Alright, happy 4th of July, everyone. It is, of course, the day of awesomeness, 4th of July, but we have some big news to talk about in regards to Dogecoin and cryptocurrency. Even as the fireworks are likely going off outside your house, you don't have to watch that. Watch this instead. Actually, the fireworks are probably more entertaining. I wouldn't blame you. I wouldn't blame you if you go watch that instead and then come back. You can always come back and watch after the fireworks are over. There's no harm in doing that. But I want to talk about one of the reasons why I am so excited about the future of Dogecoin here. And we'll go ahead and put that on the precipice of this article, which is Central African Republic launches project for its own cryptocurrency and crypto hub. Now, that right there is pretty cool. It's impressive what we're seeing in terms of activity in a lot of countries around the world moving towards crypto and seeing the advantages and solutions of it. But it gets even better than that. Well, in at least in terms of the potential to make the world a better place. You can imagine a world where instead of having to rely on centralized banks, instead of having to rely on these people who often screw us over and who are very, very, very unreliable, you can imagine a world where everyone can just simply use their phone as a bank and send money anytime, anywhere, without any restrictions or without anyone telling them what to do. That is a beautiful future. It prevents tyrannical governments to a certain degree, as long as that's implemented before the tyrannical government tries to take control. Now, if the tyrannical government's already in control, then you get China, where the government is unfortunately banning cryptocurrency in the first place, which basically just prevents it from taking off at all there and actually having its purpose served. But you can take a look at some of these wild and definitely sad in many ways stats. So here's one of them. 57% of the population in Africa right now is currently unbanked. Imagine not being able to go to any facility whatsoever to be able to store your money, to be able to invest, to be able to talk to someone and figure out a plan of action, to be able to make transactions. What would you do if you were in that position? Well, it would be very difficult, right? You wouldn't be able to have as many options. Your financial ability to increase in life would definitely be substantially limited. And so you start to look at where crypto could really solve a major problem here, especially in countries where there's not currently access to banking. People have the ability to send and transact simply from a phone. And you may say, well, Matt, if they don't have access to a bank, how in the world can they afford a phone? How could they even have access to internet? That's ridiculous. Well, there's two main things to look at there. The first one is phones, smartphones especially, are getting increasingly cheaper and more affordable. And there are also many programs in place across the world that are now focusing on giving smartphones to people in need across the globe, which is an awesome thing to see. And on top of that, we have internet services like Starlink, which are expanding into a global network that will provide high-speed internet basically everywhere in the world, which is really cool to see. And it just goes to show you that all of these efforts that are being put forward will actually make the world a better place. So just imagine combining both having access to a phone with having cryptocurrency, with having internet, and then the entire world is changed. A lot of people worry about the population of the globe growing too fast. Well, one of the most prominent indicators of populations not growing as fast is wealth. The countries that have the least amounts of wealth are often and almost consistently the ones that have significant population booms. And then the countries that are more well off often even have problems, like Japan and the United States, where they don't have enough people. And so there's kind of this weird imbalance. And if we want to see the world not grow too big in population, but also see the world get better, then that is one way to do that, which I think could absolutely help make the planet a better place. The smartphone is the alternative to traditional banking, cash, and financial bureaucracy, says the president of the second least developed country of the world, according to the UN, where 14.3% of the more than 5 million inhabitants across have access to electricity. That's insanely low. Only 14% even have access to electricity. So that is one thing that's going to massively change over time. And even less to the internet, which 71% live below the international poverty line, less than $1.9 per day. And more than half need humanitarian assistance, according to the World Bank. So there's a long way that needs to be gone first. Cryptocurrency is not the immediate solution. It can't help right now. But the truth is, it is going to play an integral role in pulling huge fractions of the planet out of poverty. And a lot of people don't even realize that yet. And it's not even just about the price here. Yeah, it's cool to see cryptocurrency going up in value, but it's not just about that. This is actually genuinely about helping people and making the world a better place, which is something that I'm proud of when it comes to cryptocurrency. I think we all should be. I mean, it's really cool. At the end, also, by the way, we are now doing every single Sunday night at 10 p.m. a Twitter Spaces, so I highly encourage you to go and check that out. You can turn on the notifications for the Twitter Space by going to the Twitter, my Twitter, Matt Wallace 888 right now, and you can click the little bell and it'll notify you when the space is actually going live every single Sunday at 10. This will be a structured show where we actually have events that we go through and talk about. We have specific segments, and we have a really cool guest that will come on pretty much every single show. When we don't know who it's going to be, or it'll be mystery until you come and watch and you can see who that guest is. And the goal, of course, is to get Elon Musk on the show at some point soon. But yes, every single Sunday night at 10 p.m. you can tune in on Twitter Spaces. Our last Twitter Spaces had over 20,000 people in less than an hour. So that's a heck of a lot of people, less than an hour long, that is, of the show. Yeah, I'm going to buy, says 40 Miners. I like the sound of that. She thinks I'm wasting money, says Igor. My wife is not allowing you to buy more crypto. See, no, the ridiculous thing is, now's the time when she should be letting you buy more crypto. The time when she shouldn't have was when it was at the top. And even still, I mean, that's your decision, right? I mean, well, you shouldn't let your wife tell you what to do. But what the heck, man? Just if you want to buy it, just buy it. It's up to you. Well, wait until she finds out how much Doge. And oh, there we go. Igor says he went around his wife's back and purchased a bunch of Doge anyway. That's the spirit, Igor. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Igor's wife. Take that. Well, it's okay though. She'll be happy when Dogecoin spikes, and she sees that she was, of course, wrong. And will she admit it? Well, maybe not. But it doesn't matter. She'll still be wrong. That's all that matters. Is crypto safe in Robinhood? I mean, Robinhood stock has absolutely fallen massively, and a lot of people are worried that they could see withdrawals frozen entirely, like we've seen with a lot of other crypto exchanges and crypto entities. But there is something that is fascinating that a lot of people have not been paying attention to. Let me go ahead and bring this up right here, because this is really interesting. So if you take a look at this, another crypto lender, this one, Vault, pauses withdrawals as the market crash takes its toll. Oh yes, that's a perfectly good excuse. Or is it not a good excuse? Because, wait a sec, it seems like every single entity, an exchange that's pausing their transactions and withdrawals, is doing it in the same exact location. Yeah, that's right, in Singapore. So you don't have to do this if you're an exchange. Most of them are not doing this. It's by far the silliest move you can make, because when you think about it, if you pause withdrawals, all that will do is cause a massive amount of frenzy. And the second you reopen withdrawals, it's going to cause the actual run that you were trying to avoid in the first place. So how in the world does this benefit anything? Well, it's very simple. In Singapore, there's clearly something going on that we don't know about behind the scenes, something very bad. Perhaps China is going through Singapore somehow to try to disrupt the crypto market. That is one conspiracy that a lot of people are wondering if it could be true. Now, there's no evidence I have right now to prove that's true, but you have to wonder. I mean, they are located somewhat near each other, pretty dang near each other, and so it just makes you wonder where in the world. I mean, I'm referring to Beijing versus Vaud, some of the major cities in China, versus where the headquarters is located here in Singapore. So a lot of weird conspiracies going around about that. It just doesn't make any sense that it happens to be all of the ones that need to close withdrawals, they say, are all in the same location. How does that happen? What are the chances? Dogecoin's finally about to go to $1, says 40 Miners. I like the sound of that. I happen to agree with you there. It will happen this year almost certainly. That's my prediction. By the way, yes, it is 4th of July. So a lot of people are out watching the fireworks show rather than watching the live, which completely and totally makes sense. If you're here, it just means that you unfortunately do not have a fireworks show to attend, or you already watched it, which is the case in my case. I already watched a fireworks show. I may go watch another one after the show's over. Who knows? We'll see. But I mean, I love fireworks. It's a lot of fun. I used to, especially when I was a kid, I would always go and buy a bunch of fireworks and just have a heck of a lot of fun with it on every single 4th of July. Remember, love, life, and all that is good. Dogecoin is coming. Remember when, says Taters and Eggs. Taters and Eggs, always with some very well thought out comments about Dogecoin on the channel. I appreciate that. I think everyone does. Honestly, there's millions of people who have no interest in being banked. They live and survive by barter and trade, says Angela. That's an interesting point. You can't speak for them, but in your opinion, their financial lives are far less stressful. Ooh, that's an interesting point. So That is one way to look at it, but at the end of the day, what you're really kind of missing as far as the bigger picture is that people still deserve the option to choose if they want to go through a banking system or not. They deserve the option to choose if they want to go through a financial system or not. And the beautiful thing about crypto is you can still withdraw and trade using your crypto without having to worry about going through a typical banking system. Now, there is some degree to which you could say, okay, well, maybe it'll cause people to want to work harder or do this, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of people who are right now unable to access food. And what we've discovered is that the best way to increase the average quality of life and the average standard of life, not listening to what the media tells you is happening and how the media says everything's bad, well, no. The average quality of life for the average person across the globe has increased massively, and that's in large part as a result of a system of money that allows you to trade back and forth, with that value being in the middle man of the transaction, being the placeholder. So that's why a lot of people, I think, are underrating the ability for cryptocurrency to truly lift a large part of the world out of poverty. It really can. And if people don't want to participate in that, they wouldn't have to, but pretty much everyone would choose to do that if given the option, because it really would make their life easier. And it really does have the ability to lift people out of poverty and make the entire world a better place. So I think a lot of big businesses and companies are getting involved in helping with this, and that's exciting to see. But talk about my Doge wallet, says Rocky. That's a pretty cool project. I enjoy staying updated on that. When is Doge spiking, says Andrew, and tomorrow, today, it's spiking tonight. When the fireworks go up, Doge will go up. That sounds like a good plan right there. It's actually up to 6.9 cents right now. So that's, I guess, somewhat of a cool thing. I mean, it's still down a lot, so it's kind of hard to celebrate. But we'll celebrate one day not too long from now. Don't fear not about that. Anyway, I'm Matt Wallace. I'm going to go watch a fireworks show. This is the 4th of July, and I will see you in the next video.